Welcome to the Cowboy Judge Show. You know, there's a lot of things you need to protect in your life, and you want to make sure that these things are, of value, and a home is one of those for sure. And I can't think of something more valuable in a house. A roof and siding are the two core components that you want to protect on your house. And you have, I think you do both, right? But your
Absolutely.
specialty, I know you've got some of the best stuff in the world. I'm familiar with the product. I've got Isaac Ovchinnikov. Did I say it? Was it close?
Yes, sir. Nailed it.
Cool last name. And you've got your business doing incredible things right now. Shield Exteriors.
Yep.
And tell us a little bit about your product.
So pretty much the 90% of our operations revolve around James Hardie siding. We've done this for a very, very long time. So we used to work for the big names. You know, there's a lot of guys that put up Hardie for 20 plus years. It's been more popular on the East and West Coast. The Midwest has been a little slower to absorb the trend with a better siding product like that. But we've been hitting the ground running with it pretty well. And 2 years ago, decided to open up my own company and took our talents, started doing our own thing. One of the biggest things we noticed is that Hardie board is taking a slow progression out here just because of the fact that it's a bit more expensive. You know, that's one thing, you can't deny that. It's a better product. But here's the thing, if you get a lower overhead company like mine, where honestly the way I do it is I just work my butt off. You know,
Right.
I do a lot of legwork. I do a lot of my own sales, my own lead generation, my own marketing. My wife helps me with payroll. You know, we keep our overhead costs very low. That way we can afford to pay our guys very good wages. And that's how we retain the best talent in town. You know, you get the best installers and lower your price for the customer.
Yeah, and so Shield Exteriors, I was looking at it, it's missing an E sort of, but that helps you remember it. Shield and then X, the letter X, Xteriors.com. And it's located out in Chesterfield, right?
Yes, sir.
And you said, I think already, but 80% of your business revolves around kind of the West County area metro and then St. Charles County.
Absolutely.
And so when I think of siding, you know, a lot of times, mostly I think of new properties. I don't know why. And I guess you got your Dutch lap siding. It's made out of, you know, kind of a thin gauge, plasticky kind of material. That's the standard on a newly built house. And then if you move from like a masonite, I guess, to a siding, sometimes you'll do this, you know, this kind of vinyl Dutch lap stuff. But what you're talking about, I know you kind of jumped right into this Hardie siding, is something that's just kind of far and away from your traditional construction grade siding. Is that what you're telling us?
Yeah, so it's actually going back toward the traditional. So one of the modern anomalies has been the vinyl siding. So if you go to, just say you go 4 hours west of here to Kansas City, they're still all about hardboard out there.
Really?
So masonite itself, it was a hardboard siding. Although, unfortunately, it was a big product failure. They did get sued, class action lawsuit.
And it kind of tended to suck up some water sometimes.
Yeah,
if it broke
it was pretty much like a compressed cardboard type, like a fiberboard. It's a fiberboard type, but it is a hardboard type siding. So the difference between a hardboard siding system and a floating siding system, which vinyl is a floating system. So here's your wall, and then you have vinyl that you nail loosely because it is plastic. It expands and contracts like crazy. So between summer and winter out here in Missouri, we have huge temperature swings. So you'll see up to a ½ inch of expansion and contraction. So if you nail that tight to the wall, you're going to have huge buckles, waves all over your walls. So you may have noticed in new construction jobs where within a year there's waves all over the wall. It's because the installers nailed it too tight. They didn't know what they were doing.
Okay.
So a hardboard siding is designed with materials that you can nail it tight to the wall. It doesn't float on the wall like that.
And what's the benefit of that?
So the benefit, you just have a way tighter structure. I mean, you caulk all you seal all the edges with sealants, and it's essentially more waterproof rather than water resistant.
Okay.
So it's just the traditional, better way of doing siding, and that's what Hardie board offers.
And I know you brought some like samples.
Yeah, so show some of these.
Absolutely.
But the look, what I wanted to ask is in your professional opinion, I guess you sell it. You're not going to say anything derogatory, but it is a better look from the curb, from up close.
So all in all, it's just a better product. I mean, as you can see, it has real cedar grain textures on it, and it looks like real wood when you put it on a wall.
Okay.
It feels like real wood. That's a solid product.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like plastic at all. It's 90% Portland cement, 10% fibers. Really, really great product.
Now, what I've always heard about cement, now I don't know about Portland cement, but I guess it's the same as, you know, the 2 or 3 things that it always does: expands, contracts, and cracks. So, I mean, is that the same for Portland cement siding board?
So, with your Hardie siding, your expansion contraction rate is not going to be noticeable. So we actually put our boards right up to our corners, we seal the edges, and after that, you have a worry-free home. It doesn't expand and contract, it doesn't look ugly after 10 years. So that's one of the biggest things I find with manufacturer warranties, for example. So this is kind of the reason we align ourselves with Hardie, because we've installed a lot of siding over the years. It's the only one that hasn't really failed us. You know, we've put up wooden siding, we've put up vinyl siding, and a lot of guys say, oh, lifetime warranty on this vinyl siding, which, you know, it's not going to rot for a lifetime, and, you know, I'll tell you that much, but it's not going to look good after 10 years. I mean,
Right,
and you
right.
can't even
Aesthetics is not included in the warranty.
and you can't even repaint it after it starts looking crappy, you know, like it
But
just comes down to
how
where,
often do you have some people moving from what I keep calling a Dutch lap? Is that right? You know, where it curves at the top.
so
and-
that's one style of vinyl siding, Dutch lap. Yep.
Yeah, where you come from, they say, you know, we just want something a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, or our Tyvek board is getting wet and ruined, or, you know, what do you, like, when's the common need for this outside of a new build?
So the majority of the time that we're converting a home from having vinyl siding to hardy board is usually when the homeowner already has a severe problem in their home that was water infiltration.
Okay.
So again, back to the installation methods, there are a lot of guys that can install vinyl siding. They just slap it up on a wall really fast. But from what I've seen from our tear-offs and removing it, very few of them actually install it properly. So with every siding product, it's as good as the install. So one
You've got
thing we
cracks
find
and
is
unlined and mismatched. I mean, I've got a siding, vinyl siding house, and I got hit by that tornado that came through here a few years ago. And it was interesting the way they said, because it's white, so it's saying, well, there's no fading from one white to another. I'm like, well, there's a little bit difference, whatever white, but you couldn't tell.
so if you rub your finger on it, I bet you'll find some chalk on your fingers though.
Right, yeah. And,
UV.
and at that point, I
deterioration.
might have had the opportunity if I had been on it a little bit. To say, and that's where I go. Is the benefit? It may cost a little more, but is it going to increase the value of your house? Is it going to give you a more durable house? Is it going to be a safer house? Do you get an insurance discount potentially for?
Absolutely. So with hardy board siding, you're looking at if you ask your insurance company, there's a chance they're going to give you a discount because it is fireproof. I mean, concrete doesn't burn, so that's
Not very easily, right?
that's a very good thing
40
right there.
million
So-
degrees or
Oh,
something.
really?
Yep. So that's potential discounts right there. But again, I can't vouch for insurance companies. They make their own rules, as everybody knows.
Right.
So.
But your house is a lot safer, a lot stronger.
Oh,
I didn't realize it was
absolutely.
that much.
Yep.
I understood it was harder. I thought it was kind of a cardboard fiber stuff, but it's actually a cement that is
Yep.
put together. And I mean, that to me is, wow. I mean, if it's not 4 times as much, why wouldn't everybody do these things? They just don't know.
And here's another thing too, is a lot of companies with a lot of very large overhead, very large established companies, they, of course, their prices are going to be astronomical. They're usually about double the price of vinyl siding. So if your vinyl house project costs about $20,000 to reside with vinyl, they're usually going to be around $35,000 to $40,000. So with my low overhead, I'm usually probably about 20% under that, just because I don't have all these extra things and extra expenses to pay out. So I'm trying really hard to punch into the vinyl market just to make hardy more popular. And the more popular it is, the more people that buy it, we can potentially lower the cost all across the board for the product.
Right.
So I mean, the more you make something, it's really just the laws of supply and demand. If we can make it popular, then of course let's crank out production. Let's make everybody get hardy. You know, jump on the hardy train.
Get
you know?
an increase in values across the board
Pretty
for our whole subdivision,
Yeah.
right?
And as for values, you're looking at ROI for the past decade. Hardy has held an 84% ROI on average. That's incredible with
Return
any home
on
remodeling.
investment?
Absolutely.
Wow.
I mean, that's incredible in
What was
any
that number
home
again?
remodeling. 84%.
84. Okay.
Yep, 84%. That's great for, you know, compare that to the kitchens, baths, anything, interior remodeling, exterior remodeling. 84% is very high.
So if someone calls you who just had a wind flash and tore off the back part of their siding, and they just want to repair, you know, light color or something, will you do that, or you just absolutely won't touch a vinyl siding piece?
So if somebody has trouble with their home, I'm going to do whatever I can to help them out. So I've had customers who have old masonite siding, but it's just not in their budget to replace the entire house. So we'll just do a section at a time. We'll do one wall this year, another wall the next year. If they just need a couple of boards, hardy is a close enough match to masonite to where from the street you won't really see the difference,
Okay.
as long as it's all painted evenly and blends in. But of course you can't match old faded paint from new paint. So that's why if we do a patch replacement, we do heavily recommend at least repainting the entire wall to blend it in.
And is that a benefit or a detriment to hardy siding that it can be painted, or does it need to be painted? Or
It's a great thing having a product that you can paint, because say for example you put a bunch of siding on your home and then you plan on selling in 10 years. If you put vinyl on there, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to either replace your vinyl or buy one of those really shady paints to paint on vinyl. I don't recommend painting vinyl.
Yeah, I didn't know you
Some-
could even
some
paint a
people
vinyl. I
do
feel
it.
like if you look at a
Yeah.
house and it's
it'll flake off most
Yeah,
of the
some
time.
it's a
people do
pea
it, but-
green color, you're stuck unless
Yeah,
you want to
exactly.
replace the whole
so,
thing.
I mean, if you're planning on selling your house, all you have to do is spruce it up, give it a fresh coat. But in most cases, this paint's going to last you at least 30 years looking good on a house.
Oh, it will?
It's,
It comes with a color assigned to it originally, though, right?
So there
When
are
you
different
install it.
styles. Yep. So this is the Color Plus from the Statement Collection. So that has a 15-year prorated warranty on their color finish. So what they do in the factory is they send that through a machine. It shoots a primer on there, then it sends it through another machine that shoots on paint, and then they actually send it through an oven, and it bakes on the finish. So that's a baked-on paint finish on the siding.
And so and we talked 80% of your business is in, WECO, what I call it, West County, and then St. Charles County, St. Chuck. But, where, out of the last 5 homes you did, are those friends and family? Are those insurance problems? Or where are you getting the most of your folks coming to you, or just everywhere?
Pretty much a mixed bag from everywhere. I mean, we get Better Business Bureau leads because we have good reviews on just about every platform. Better Business Bureau, House, Home Advisor. I get direct leads from Google. I mean, I'm very big on marketing. I try to spread our name far and wide. Every customer is very thrilled with their job. We have yet to have a customer that's mad at us.
Okay.
It's just one of those things where scheduling. That's probably the only thing that gets a little bit up in the air because if we get bad weather, we're delayed. But once we arrive on the job, yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to do the Google search.
And
I've done this before.
And here's a piece of the trim.
Yeah, this is so this is if you've ever had a piece of kind of vinyl siding in your hands, it feels like something that it'd invite you to maybe put up yourself or I don't know. Just but this is quite the. Have you touched it?
Yeah, this is. I mean,
Have a feel of that.
I didn't realize, man. Wow, you could do some damage.
It just feels like it would last longer, but I don't know if that's just psychosomatic or not.
Yeah, I think they had ceramic bats at one point they were making.
Yeah,
that same
they
stuff.
still do that.
And you talk about that's some heavy duty stuff. I did not realize how durable, how strong that is. And it's 4 or 5 times stronger than my vinyl. I mean, the vinyl I've got. You can just pull that stuff off sometimes, depending on how it's been installed and what damage has happened. I had that tornado and some wind, and they only did the front half and not the back half, so they did these 2 corners, not whatever. And there's parts where the side little beam was coming off and this whole strip was coming up. I had to push the whole stuff back in. I felt like, man, this is like very cumbersome compared to that. Holy cow! I feel like my house that whole tornado would have no impact. Well, with what happened to me,
So pretty much what we do also during our install, so our process is we tear off all the siding off the wall, tear it down to the sheathing. We put up our Hardy Wrap house wrap because every house needs house wrap. That's just an industry standard. A lot of guys try to cheap out and forget about it, or they think the homeowner's not going to notice and they skip that process just to shave a couple of pennies off the project. Every project will have Hardy Wrap house wrap. We mark out all of our studs, so we make sure every single board gets nailed into the studs, not just blind nailing into sheathing. We're not going to accidentally hit a bunch of power lines or anything like that. So every board goes right into the structural member of your home, and that way it's guaranteed to hold tight.
So if you go to buy a car, when we leave the studio today, you get there and first you think you just want a Camaro, right? And then you find there's one with LED taillights and headlights. Then one's got navigation. Then one's got auto park. I mean, next thing you know, your $32,000 car is $61,000, and you really want it, but you usually have to kind of come back to reality a little bit, and you end up at 40. I got to have navigation, but I don't have to have the car park itself. So if you're telling us, if I'm hearing you right, that dime for dime, pound for pound, every time you would go up against a vinyl siding bid, you're going to lose money-wise. How do you get that person over the edge to spend another, $4,200 that if they just stayed with vinyl, they would have that in their bank still? Like, what's the biggest thing you think takes people to that next level? Is it just discretionary income because they're rich, or?
So pretty much that's a big challenge. Obviously, it's gonna be challenging once I get to lower income neighborhoods because everything drives around the spendable dollar, the disposable income. So that's why it's kind of a challenge to punch into those neighborhoods for me. But I have a better chance of doing that versus other companies have a lot more overhead. So the value proposition that I do offer, we call the Shield Advantage, is the fact that we offer Hardy for pretty much the best value for your dollar. With the ROI combined with the price, where we're pretty much close to vinyl in our pricing.
Okay.
I mean, people are getting a way better product with more ROI. So they're not really spending more money and throwing it in the trash. They're actually reinvesting that money into the value of their home because their home is actually going up in value.
And I want to ramp up a little bit.
Redistributing your money into something else that you own.
I'm guessing you probably have some realtors that get a hold of you here and there to help them fix a house problem or something like that, right? And investors who flip houses, potentially, they might have these types of things put on them to really dial it up before they sell it, right? And so they can go to, no doubt, the shieldexteriors.com. But then we got the phone number on the screen, 636-224-6048. Call that anytime, leave a message, or reach you or your wife or whoever and set an appointment for a bid. I guess they come out, you bid it out, and let them make a decision from there.
So my process on that, we set up a design consultation measuring session. So that's the first appointment I have with a potential customer. So I come over, listen to their ideas, put them on paper, figure out exactly what they want their house to look like, build their dream house if they want me to. And then I take all my numbers, my measurements get taken down, and then I start putting together your free quote. That's pretty much that simple.
Well, thanks for coming and telling us about it. This has been great. I never knew so much about the alternative to vinyl siding. Did you, Mr. Cowboy?
This guy's an expert. I've run into him. We talked business. We're doing some fun stuff to work together. And I said, man, we need to have you on the show to talk about what we're doing here. Ladies and gentlemen, the Cowboy Judge Show. Isaac here, expert Shield Xteriors. Giddy up.
Thanks for watching.